Hey guys, I'm missing you all so much. It is so crazy. I'm sure you guys are missing doing our vocabulary hand motions just like I am. I'm so sure that you are. So, I decided I'm gonna make a video for you guys so that we can do our hand motions together still. So, here's our list of vocabulary words this week. We've kind of stopped doing our bonus words just because, you know what? We're just trying to keep learning. We don't need to add anything extra right now. So if you want to keep looking up some new fancy words, go right ahead. But here are our words of the week, okay? And for those of you at home, I hope that you do mirrors on with me. Ready? All right, so we know how to pronounce these words. Mirrors on. Your hand should be up right now. Crumbled, droughts, ecosystem, extinct, flourished, fragile, imbalance, and ripples. Mirrors off. All right, funny story. I had pronounced flourished wrong up until about 3 years ago. Whenever I first started teaching this word, I used to pronounce it flourished, and my mom made fun of me. So no longer will I pronounce this word wrong. So it is pronounced flourished and not flourished, for those of you who were confused just like I was. So hopefully you've already clicked through what these words mean, but I'll just do like a basic overview with you. So our first word is crumbled. And when I hear the word crumbled, I always think of like a cookie crumbling, which I think that's even like the picture here. Oh no, it's a brick wall. Yeah, I think the picture I gave you was a cookie crumbling because, again, that's what I think of when I think of something crumbling. So crumbled, if we look here, if something crumbled, then it broke into small pieces. So again, like an old brick wall, it starts to kind of crumble over time if it gets aged for a long time. Or a cookie, if you have a cookie in your hand and you squish your hand together, then that cookie will crumble into a bunch of tiny pieces. So I'll go over your hand motions for crumble in just a second, but here's like a little video.
Crumbled. If something crumbled, then it broke into small pieces.
Yeah, even that sound effect really helps us learn what crumbled means. So it just means to break into really small, tiny pieces. All right, next word, we have talked about this word before. I'm not sure when, but I know we have. But a drought, oh, I remember whenever we were reading Apples to Oregon, and all those pioneers had to migrate west. They experienced a lot of droughts. And we had already talked about that a drought is just basically a long period of time without rainfall. So a drought would be very bad for farmers, especially because they depend on that water to keep their crops from withering and drying out. And so the ask question says, what part of the world are there a lot of droughts? Obviously a desert, right? All right, let's look at the example. Yeah, so here's a really good picture of a drought. You can see that all the crops have dried out and withered. Next word, ecosystem. All right, whenever I think of ecosystem, I feel like, and I could be wrong, you can let me know in comments if I'm wrong. I think you guys did a project in 3rd grade over ecosystems, maybe. And maybe Miss Kester has talked to you about ecosystems before in science class. It's a very sciencey term. An ecosystem is all the living and non-living things in an area. So It includes like the geography or like the layout of the land, and it also includes the things that live in that area of land as well. So if we look at this example, a reef ecosystem can be disrupted if you remove one species that live in it. So remember that animals in an ecosystem, they depend on one another. And in this book we're about to read today, it's about how Native Americans used to depend on buffalo, and whenever the buffalo were run out by the Europeans, it caused a really big imbalance in that ecosystem because each one depended on one another. So an ecosystem, again, is all the living and non-living things in an area. So a reef, a rainforest, a polar ecosystem, a desert. Those are all examples of ecosystems. So here's a really cool picture of a reef ecosystem. And again, if you removed one of these things from its ecosystem, it would cause some kind of imbalance because they all depend on one another. Next word, extinct. I know Jax has heard this word before because he loves to talk about dinosaurs. And so the word extinct means something that no longer exists. So I feel like, I'm sorry, this little thing my camera's on is not very good, but I'm doing my best here. I think that made it worse. I'm sorry. That's better. So again, something that is extinct means it no longer exists. It's been completely wiped out. It's gone forever. So again, an example of something that has been extinct would be dinosaurs. They once roamed the earth. They no longer because they are extinct. A woolly mammoth is another example of something that is extinct. For our example sentence, it says, the American buffalo was hunted so much that it almost became extinct. So hunting, or people in general, are the reason that most animals can go extinct. Way to go, humans. Am I right? All right. American buffalo hunted so much that it almost became extinct. And this is what our story is going to be about this week. So super excited about that. Next, hopefully, if my computer will go. Maybe. All right, our next word is that word I used to pronounce wrong all the time, is flourished. Something that is flourishing is living its best life, all right? So you can be flourishing if you are doing amazing in school, all right? Or if you're super healthy and you're in the best shape of your life, you could say you're flourishing. So it could be a person that's flourishing in life, or it could be like a sunflower is flourishing, which means that it's super healthy and tall and bloomed. So spike, our class plant, whenever it's being taken care of and it gets a lot of sun and a lot of water, we could say that spike is flourishing. So a vocab word that we had in the past that would be an antonym for flourish would definitely be withered, right? Because if a plant is withered, it's definitely not living its best life, right? It's dead and crispy. Whereas if something is flourishing, it looks amazing, it's healthy, living its best life. So example sentence, the sunflowers grew tall and flourished in the rich soil. So plants would definitely not flourish if there is a drought. Oh, cool, a video.
Flourished. Something that flourished, thrived, or grew strongly.
Okay, so that's why you guys gotta eat your vegetables and your fruits and not just binge watch Netflix and eat a bunch of Pop-Tarts because you want to flourish. Next word, fragile. Every time I see this word, I think of A Christmas Story. I don't know if you've ever seen that before. I don't know if it's really age appropriate. It might be, I don't know. But the dad in this show mispronounces fragile and he pronounces it fragile. I just thought that was really funny. That was something I would do. All right, this word is fragile. And something that is fragile is delicate and tends to break easily. So something fragile is very breakable, okay? Easy to break. So glass is fragile. A vase, a window, a mirror. The example they give you is really good. Tom held the nest carefully because he was afraid the fragile eggs might break. So eggs, definitely fragile. Antonym for fragile, I would say durable, sturdy. And yeah, those are two really good antonyms for fragile. It's something that's just gonna hold up well and not break easy. So the eggs in the nest are fragile. Next word is imbalance. We can figure out what this word means just by breaking it apart. So obviously this word imbalance has the prefix "im," and I would totally ask you guys this question if I was with you. So I'm just gonna go ahead and remind you what "im" means. "Im" means not. So this word means not balance or not in balance, okay? So an imbalance is something that its parts are not in an equal, steady, or secure position. So it's not balanced, it's not equal. So if I were to stand on two legs, okay? I'm doing it right now, you can't see me. But if I'm standing on two legs, then I am balanced. My body weight is balanced equally between my two legs. If I stand on one leg, whoa, I am in an imbalance because my body weight is not balanced equally anymore. So just means not equal. Example, too much algae created an imbalance in the pond's ecosystem. So, if you've ever owned a fish before and you didn't clean its cage properly. Oh, if you've ever seen Finding Nemo and what do? They do something to create an imbalance in their tank so that it has to be cleaned. Do you remember that part? I bet you do. Yeah, so this is an imbalance in an ecosystem. There is a lot of algae going on. Next word. All right, next word is ripples. Something that ripples basically just forms small waves. All right, so if you've ever threw a stone in a lake, you'll see that the water kind of ripples or forms these really, really tiny waves. The example sentence says the water ripples around the swimming dog. So I bet there's a picture on the next slide. If a flag ripples, is the air windy or still? Obviously, it's gonna be windy, right? Causes ripples in that fabric of the flag.
Ripples. Something that ripples forms small waves.
Do you see that the letters kind of rippled there? And if you look in this picture, here's some ripples, here's some ripples. Just means some small waves. Is that it? Yeah, that's it. Cool. All right. In the next part of this video, I'm going to show you our hand motions. And this is going to be really embarrassing for me at home. So do not make me do this by myself. Please do it with me. And I'll see you in the next part of the video.